Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, February 25th, 2020 annual report meeting for the Clay Township Board and the Board of Finance. At this time, Mary, could you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mary. At this time, I'd like to take a little time and recognize an outstanding citizen for the Clay Township Board of Trustee. On behalf of her husband, Al Patterson, we'd like to present Laura the Outstanding Township Citizens Award from the board. Go ahead.
Well, we'll do it into. On behalf of the Clay Township Board, we'd like to give this wonderful award for an appreciation for everything else done for us and for the community. And it reads, presented to Al Patterson, the park guy. Grateful appreciation for your 28 years of outstanding service and leadership as Director of the Hamilton County Parks and Recreation, Clay Township Board, Trustee and staff, April 7th, 1992 through February 28th, 2020. Please give it to him with our regards.
Well, thank you. That's lovely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Would you like to say something, Laura?
Yeah, he sent some remarks.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That is so beautiful.
There's
Thank you.
a container for you.
Okay.
We're going to picture.
Good picture. Oh, and
Yeah.
need this picture.
We'll stand behind you.
Did you get it done? Okay. All right. So Al says, I apologize for not being here tonight in person and would like to thank my wife Laura, the First Lady of Hamilton County Parks, and my dear friend and coworker Don Nichols for representing me. I would like to thank the Clay Township trustees for this recognition. He says, I'm so proud and grateful to have been able to be here for 28 years. Being in one place that long has given me the opportunity to create many outstanding relationships. My relationship with the Clay Township Trustees Office ranks very high on that list. Over the years, you have been such an important part of the development of parks and recreation in our community with your role in the Carmel Clay Parks and Recreation and your support of the Hamilton County Parks and Recreation Department and me. You should all be commended for your impact on the county-wide park and recreation movement. Thank you for that. It has been an honor and a pleasure to working with all of you over the years, and I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Don, would you like to make any comments?
I do not approve upon that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. At this time, approval of the minutes from the January 7th, 2020 organizational board meeting.
I so move.
I second.
So moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any public comments? Seeing none, move on.
Mr. Chairman.
Action items.
I would move to add action item A1, my annual disclosure, if that would be okay with you. I'd your motion to add that to agenda.
That will be fine. I have in front of me,
We need to vote to add it to the agenda.
okay, the action of interest of conflict of interest statement for Matt Snyder. We need to add this to the agenda. We have a motion for Matt to add this as A1. Can I have a second?
I so move.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Where do I put it?
On this here, just adding it, it basically says that Matt, where he works at, DB Engineering, he's a salaried employee, and they may do some work for the city of Carmel, or the city of Parks, Carmel's Clay Parks and Recreation District. So for him to do that,
May I speak to it? I have got no legal reason to do it, but in the cause of abundance of caution, I like to file this every year. Long before I was on this board, our firm did work for the city of Carmel in the Carmel Clay Parks Department in the county of Hamilton, and we've continued to do some work, a couple projects every few years, and I just want people to know that I have no pecuniary interest in this, and DB Engineering, the firm I work for, has a long-standing history doing work for the Parks Department, City of Carmel, and County of Hamilton. So with that being said, this is done in the abundance of caution, just as an added measure so that everybody knows where I stand. So I think, Mary, if you would move to accept it, if you are so willing.
I do move, yes.
I second to accept his interest statement. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Abstain?
Pass 2-1, 2-0, 1 abstention. Next item of business, organization of board finance pursuant of Indiana Code 5-13-7-6 to elect president and secretary.
I'd move to nominate Mary as president.
I second it. Been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pass 3-0. Congratulations, Mary.
Thank you. Are we conducting that meeting right now?
We need to elect the secretary.
We need to elect a secretary now.
I move that Matt be secretary.
I second that. All in favor, say aye. Signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Pass 3-0. Review investment policy.
Earlier. Well, I guess then as president of the Finance Committee, I call the Finance Committee meeting in order right now as a review of the investment policy.
Yes, before you have our investments, actually are the accounts and the amounts in each one of those for, as of December 31st of 2019. As always, we've always had Fifth Third as our bank. It's in the now account, $7,886,723.29. The next item down is part of our bonding that we did this past year. And there's two categories, the general obligation bonds and then the building corp leases. And at this time, I'm going to ask our township accountant, Angie Stino, to step up and kind of explain why we have these in that, on this document.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you, members of the board. So as Doug mentioned, we had two sets of bond issues, and it all depended on who was the issuer. So Clay Township, as a taxing district, issued the general obligation bonds, and there were three projects were also issued by the building corporation, the same building corporation who issued the prior 2015 fire station bonds. The general obligation bonds, because those are a true obligation of the township, you will see those on your annual financial report this year. So the $43.4 million that's represented below, that was the ending cash balance of all of the 12 general obligation construction funds. So as of 12/31, there was $43 million in the bank. Those will continue to be spent down over the next couple years to successfully meet the needs of the project. And then below you'll see is the other Huntington Bank mentioned. Huntington Bank, as the bond trustee, they hold all of the construction funds. Because three of those were actually issued by the building corporation, those are held by the trustee. However, you will not see those on your annual financial report. We did want to disclose that information, though, to be transparent that those funds are available. The township will be accounting for those, so they can share those with the finance committee when you have that quarterly, I think, internal control meeting for your checks and balances. So all that is there, and we assist the township on a monthly basis and help them reconcile the construction spend down. Any questions?
On the building corp leases, Angie, is that just for the fire mostly, and that includes the fire truck in that also? Because when I was doing the reports here,
Yep.
I saw, they gave me a preview of this, and I was wondering where some of these were at.
They are. That's the fiber ring was one of the building corporation bonds. Those are really the public safety components. So really consistent with 2015. We've continued to maintain these from an accounting standpoint, similar to how your existing building corporation bonds are maintained as well. So you'll see the debt service payments for those, the lease payments from the township to the building corporation. That section will always be included in your annual financial report because that's funds that are leaving the township to pay the building corporation. But the actual cash for construction accounts will just be held by the trustee.
I just want to note say to Angie, this was incredibly complicated, very, very complicated, many years in the making, and very tall orders were asked of Angie and Crow, Angie specifically, and she met them, and this is going to be very complicated moving forward, which is why Crow continues to assist us on a monthly basis, because this was all done in an effort not to impact our tax rate, and thanks to Angie, we did not. So this Clay Township Impact Program is to be neutral, and we couldn't have done that without Angie. Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Andy.
Angie, I got one question real quick here, is on an email that I seen that this money is the general obligation bonds and the building corp lease bonds both have to be spent down in 2 to 3 years, or how is that? Just real quick.
Yeah, and that's really IRS regulations. So when you issue debt, there are spend down requirements for tax-exempt bonds that requires you to spend down your proceeds in a certain time frame. And the real purpose is the federal government wants to make sure that you're not borrowing money for just the purpose of borrowing money. There's a true expectation of spend down. So if you're able to, the goal is to spend all of the construction accounts, and there are 15 separate bank accounts for each of the different projects to be spent down in that 3-year period. Okay. There's also additional complicated spend down requirements throughout the 3-year period. And what we'll do then is that you'll be required to perform an arbitrage calculation. And what that is just the IRS saying, hey, this is how much we're allowing you to earn as that money's sitting there. If you earn higher than what we're telling you can earn, then you may have to rebate that back. Okay. So not necessarily anything negative. It's really saying, hey, you're going to earn as much as you can that's allowable from interest earnings. And if you earn more, we'll have to revert those earnings to the IRS. But key to have all the proceeds spent in 3 years to make sure we're within that overall framework.
Thank you.
And the last comment I want to make is about the money in the now funds, because people see that $7.8 million and assume we're very flush with cash, but that money, nearly all of it's committed to various projects already. It's not that we're sitting on $7 million of liquid cash of the taxpayers' money. That is committed to, for majority of it is towards the Parks Capital Improvement Fund.
Any other comments? Does that conclude what we need to do this year?
Yes.
Then this is the end of the finance meeting at 6:15.
Thank you, Mary.
Well, we have to vote on it, don't we? There's a vote?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All in favor of accepting this, please say aye.
Well, I would move to accept the investment policy.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, dear.
Next item, approve 2019 annual report, which we got in our packet. And if you had time to read it all.
Debbie, you do a great job with Angie and Doug in the Gateway program. That's something that bureaucracy did right, which is rare. So it really dumbs it down, and this is available online to the public for anybody that wants to dig into it. And I would move to approve the 2019 annual report.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried 3-0. Resolution number 2020-2-25-01, update on township assistance guidelines.
What you've got in your packet is the resolution that covers our township assistance guidelines. And every year, we look at what we're going to pay out for people that needs rent, utilities, and stuff like that. So So what you'll need to do, if you approve this, is you will take the sheets from last year, pull them out, which is a spreadsheet that shows the amount we will pay for rent in 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments, and also what our max is on the poverty level for Hamilton County. So you could remove the sheets from last year and stick these sheets in your binder. So that's what we're just doing, is updating anything that we need to update in township assistance. That's why we do this every year.
And I'd like to comment, we've heard some negative comments in the past about how we don't spend as much money proportionately to the community as others, and that's because Debbie and Donna and Doug do a great job being judicious with taxpayer dollars and finding other avenues to help those in need and helping them find organizations. We're the best township in the state at that, and we thank you very much for doing that. And that's why, proportionately to our population, our spend on poor relief is lower. We have the same number of qualified people in our community, but we find creative ways to ease the burden on the taxpayer from taking care of them.
Absolutely.
And I very much appreciate what you guys do. I know it's not easy.
And a lot of that goes to Donna. Donna's the one that she digs things out, and she makes sure that this person is well-deserved. And that is so true in the way she looks at everybody. Not just this person or that person, everybody. And that's what I really like about Donna.
I would move to
Accept.
approve
Yeah.
item D.
I have a motion, I have a second.
Second?
Motion, I have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pass 3-0. Information items, Carmel Fire Department 2019 EMS Collection Report.
This is a report that we get monthly, and I usually give it out to you guys every couple of months on the fire department ambulance response and what they collect. As I've always said, every year when we go through this, the fire department's Category 4 budget is zero, because everything that they pay for, from furnishings their stations to apparatus, to any capital project that they have, it's paid out of that ambulance fund. And that saves the taxpayers a barrel of money, because usually your Category 4, your capital projects are huge. So, I really pat them on the back. They do a tremendous job. And as you can see, as far as the end of last year, 2019, they took in was $1,684,000, which is tremendous when you turn around. The good thing is we live in a community that has insurance, and so we have very minimal problems of them collecting, which is a great thing to have, a problem to have. So anyway, this is probably something that you won't see but maybe a couple times a year after this, because as you know, we don't really do much with the fire department now, other than the projects we are working on, Matt and board members. That's what we're working with the fire department now. So, but you will always get this form, because it's part of the city code that you guys need to be involved in that.
And Doug, you're being humble, but Chief Callahan started this program many years ago, so this is really his legacy, and it has been a tremendous impact, and that has shown through in our Clay Township impact projects, where the fire department has been able to do improvements they didn't think they'd be able to get done for several years, because we are helping them out on a number of other major issues, roofs, driveways, drainage, throughout the community. I think we're touching all but one fire station in this Clay Township Impact Program. The township is improving.
Yeah, one nice thing about that, Matt, is the fact that the fire department here has a tiller up at the headquarters in Carmel. Well, they've got one coming in this spring. It will be down at this fire station here, the second tiller.
Oh, will it really?
Yes, it will be here probably late spring. They're doing a lot, and really is making a difference, making this community much safer. Every day our public safety. And you know what? I even give the credit to the public works people. They do a tremendous job for this community.
Thank you. Information item B, 1782 notice budget year 2020.
On the 1782 notice, that's what we get every year to, which allows us to spend our budget. And we've got everything was approved by DLGF. One thing I needed to, and Angie, I might ask you to maybe explain this better than I can. But one of the things that you might run across, you as the board or anybody out there, that you don't see on the spreadsheet by the county on the, the tax, property tax, okay? If you look at the spreadsheet, it's got all the townships and all the cities and towns in there. You will not see Clay Township. And the reason that is, all of Clay Township is in Carmel, or Carmel is in all of Clay Township, whichever way you want to look at it. So we have been added to the Carmel tax rate. So when you go across and you look down, if you see the township, anything that's got under township, that's got like our general fund, our township assistance, our debt service funds, that will be placed under the city of Carmel. But it comes from the township as far as Clay Township, the trustee and board, okay? So you will not see Clay Township at the top of the heading because I had a phone call from a county council member yesterday asking me, hey, had a taxpayer ask, how come Clay Township is not on there? Well, it's because now since Carmel is in Clay and Clay's in Carmel, we are now fit under the city of Carmel. So that's where our tax rate is. Clay Township, city of Carmel.
Thank you, Doug.
Doug? Any questions from the board? Financial questions from the board?
I have none.
I have none.
Have none? Board comments, Mary?
Yes, I'd like to tell you about a workshop that I went to 2 weeks ago. It was on the weekend, and it was a workshop to teach everybody that was there, and we must have had over 50 people. And everybody was assigned to a family, and then you were given certain chits that you had to pay for. You'd pay for your rent, and you'd pay for the gas, and you'd pay for, and we went through that exercise. You had 15 minutes to get to all the grocery store, the car, then you had to go to your business, pick up your check, and everybody had to go together as a family to do it, because we were in a family that might not have the money to do some of those things. I mean, we were assigned all of this, and during that time, we had to go to all these different places in the room to get things done. It was the most eye-opening experience that I've ever had. And when you don't wind up, I mean, several times, our family wound up with no money for food. You know, then what do you do? Well, then you have to go over and stand in line to get food, and all of a sudden the guy puts out a close sign and you can't get anything. And then you go to get gas and they tell you don't have enough money. It was very interesting because it showed you, if you've never been through that, you don't really understand it until all of a sudden you're standing there with nothing in your hands. And I took my husband and he was on one of the teams. And as a result, today he went to work at a food pantry. He wanted to help. So, you know, it's really good to get continuing education about how all this done. I know you work with it every day, but we don't. And it was a tremendous experience. And if you ever have a chance, I would suggest you do it because it makes you really realize that this is really real. And I'm so proud to be on the board to help. That's my comments. And again, congratulations. We're so glad that Al was here to serve us, and we know that you have been as much involved as anyone could be. And so we appreciate your help with Al.
Matthew?
Do you guys want an update on the impact program?
Yes.
Might as well. Good time.
Today was our first bid opening. That was for the, excuse me, it was our second bid opening. That's for the fiber ring, which is part of the public safety portion of our impact program. The Clay Township Children's Pavilion at Cox Hall is going to go to bid shortly. The plans are being finalized. There's been quite a bit of excitement around that one. The park, one of our park entrance improvements, the roundabout at 111th and Rangeline Road. I just finished doing my review of the plans, which is not in an official capacity, but they are good. They are at Cogregardus Regis. Being the contract book is being reviewed, and that will go to bid here in a couple weeks. Anticipate construction starting on that probably mid-April. Cary Grove Park will probably start beginning of summer. Meadowlark Park will start late fall, and the field house at the Dad's Club we hope to break ground midsummer on. The Monon Trail and Sister Cities Cultural Gardens project will start late fall of this year as well. Those are my updates.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate that.
Yes.
I don't have a lot of comments. First, I want to thank Angie for all her work and Debbie all her work on this budgets and gateway and stuff like that, because I happened to be in the office when all that stuff was going on. So a lot of work, a lot of headache and everything. Laura, congratulations. Well honored for Al. Hope he enjoys retirement. You guys are moving back up north to be with the kids and stuff. So best endeavors for you and everything. And Don, thank you for coming to the meeting tonight. Announcements, Doug? Any announcements? None?
I think Matt set that up for us.
Okay.
He'll be busy at the end of every meeting.
Okay. That'll be great. Have a motion to adjournment?
Make a motion.
I will second that motion at 6:27.
All right, 6:27. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, 6:27. The meeting is closed.